One light, two light, making me money, sweetheart. I appreciate it. What is going on, you guys? AK40 Kevin here in the gamer heaven. Today I'm going to share with you my settings for my 3080 graphics card that's netting me between 90 and 95 mega hash while keeping my VRAM temperatures lower than usual. Still cooking a little bit, but not too hot. I do have my thermal pads coming in a couple days, and I will have that tutorial how to install aftermarket thermal pads on your 3080 or 3090 graphics card to lower your VRAM temps. But I'm going to share with you guys the settings that I'm using to mine Ethereum through the Dagger Hashimoto algorithm. Let's get it. Alrighty guys, over here at the PC, going to go ahead and share my screen here, and these are the settings that I'm currently running with my graphics card, my 3080, to maximize my mining of Ethereum, to keep my VRAM temperatures down, and also to maximize my mega hash, my actual profit, my output. So these settings here, you can also adjust these inside of MSI Afterburner. I just happen to be using Alienware Control Center, or ACC as the kids call it, and it allows you to overclock or underclock the CPU, GPU, and even the RAM, which is really cool. I didn't really think a pre-built company would have that software baked in, basically encouraging or allowing people to quickly and easily overclock on the fly. But basically, whenever I'm not gaming or 4K video editing, I'm just going to be mining. I come over here to the home screen and I turn on the mining undervolt, which is what I named the profile over here. And in the Fusion tab, as you can see, the only thing I really have set up here, don't worry about the RAM. That's not a huge deal. I just happen to have the RAM enabled, but I have my power limit at 65. Now you can go up to 68, but you will see about an extra 2 degrees on your VRAM or your video RAM. And that's a major problem on the 3080s and 3090s, particularly the Founders Edition cards. However, even the third-party cards like the MSI, EVGA, etc., they have a very similar issue. So what you want to do is change your thermal pads. I made a video a couple days ago about why every single 3080 and 3090 gamer and miner immediately needs to change their thermal pads, because the core clock stays around 60 at the most. That's under load. Generally around 50 or so, just at idle, at least in my PC. And I have a relatively small form factor, not well ventilated or a very good airflowing case. I have an Alienware R11, which are notoriously known for not great airflow. So if you have a good case, a good mid-tower, or definitely a full size with 3 intake fans and 1 exhaust fan, you'll have absolutely no issues whatsoever with core clocks, the actual core GPU clocks. But the VRAM, the video memory, gets up to 110 degrees Celsius. That's 230 degrees Fahrenheit, which I don't have to tell you guys, that's way too damn hot. So with these settings here, by cutting down the power limit, you are going to limit your VRAM temps to about 102, which is in the yellow for at least the NiceHash Mining Platform. However, that's still a little high, but my thermal pads get here tomorrow, and I will be doing the install on this channel, a full step-by-step tutorial. In fact, I think I'm the first person to actually disassemble my particular version of a 3080. I know there's a lot of Aurora R10 and R11 owners out there that have the 3080 or 3090 graphics card, and Dell/Alienware, their gaming division, has their own unique graphics card. I'm playing some B-roll right now so you can see what I'm talking about. Basically, they put their own heat sink or heat plate on the top, some cooling fins on the side, and then 2 fans on the bottom. And it's actually a pretty beefy, well-cooled OEM card, I would say, in comparison to some of the other cards I've seen from, MSI, EVGA, and other third-party companies, which is surprising. I didn't really think Dell would do very well, I guess. I just have a misconception about Dell, but having owned the Alienware for about a month now, so far I'm very impressed with their performance. Thermal limit, I didn't change this at all. It's at 83 degrees Celsius, which I definitely want to start tapering power if it does reach a core temperature of 83, which means the VRAM is probably at about 1,000 degrees Fahrenheit, and it's literally starting a fire in my office. Core clock, I have this bumped down or underclocked by 150 megahertz. The core clock doesn't do too much for profitability when you're mining Ethereum. Right here, the memory clock, I have this at a whopping 1200 megahertz. So, if you have it at the default, the stock, it's 0, but I have it at 1200. Now, before you just jump up there and start at 1200, what I would recommend you do is start at 800 and see if there's any stability issues for you. Go ahead and run if I hit test and save right here, which I'm not going to do because I'm video recording right now and it takes a lot of the GPU power because it basically runs a benchmark. It maxes out the load of the GPU, just like running a graphical benchmark like Unigen. And it's going to see if there's any instability in voltage, temperature, anything like that. And I recommend that you do run a couple benchmarks before you start mining with your memory clock at about 800 plus. Then if you're comfortable, everything's fine there, you're not crashing or seeing any instability issues, then go ahead and bump up to about 900, then 1000, and then 1200. So I'm having absolutely no issues here at 1200 whatsoever. I mined, like 14 hours straight between going to bed last night and then having jury duty today and then coming home. So there was no issues. My VRAM was down there at about 102 degrees Celsius, which is still warm, but it's not pegged out at that 110 where it starts hitting a thermal wall. So there was zero thermal throttle whatsoever, meaning that my mega hash never dipped down. If you look at my curve on NiceHash, which I'm not going to pull up right now, I've shown you guys my tables, my charts for mining in the past, but it hasn't changed. It's still pretty consistent there. And with these settings here, I'm getting between 85 and 94 mega hash, generally in the low 90s, so 91, 92. And even for, there was a 2 to 3 hour period where I was hitting 100 mega hash, which is very high considering I'm at 65% power limit. I can only imagine what I can hit with this card once I get the thermal pads installed, which from what I've read from all the forums, all the reviews of the thermal pads I purchased, and basically the 3080 community, the word of mouth, is that will lower your temps about 30 degrees Celsius on the VRAM. That's massive. That's literally what she said. So by lowering my temps 30, I can probably bring this back up to 80%. If I'm fine there, my VRAM's still not getting warm, I'll probably put it at 100 for a while, which I know most people don't mind at 100. I'll probably just do it as a test for you guys to see what the VRAM temps are like mining at 100% wattage voltage there. But, generally, these settings right here for a stock card, no thermal pads upgraded or anything, you are going to see about 85 to 95 mega hash consistently, zero thermal throttling, and keep your VRAM temps around 100, 102, which is still warm, but it's acceptable. Just like people are saying the 110 is acceptable. There's actually NVIDIA reps talking to concerned 3080 owners in the forum saying, oh no, that's fine. As long as the core clocks are around 60 or 65, the VRAM can be at 110. And people like myself are like, there's no way that's correct. That's way too hot. And it is. That's why I'm changing the thermal pads on there. I'm also adding a second intake fan to the R11. That video is also going to be uploaded either tomorrow along with the graphics card or the day after. So within this week, you're going to get 2 major tutorials on the R11 over here, taking apart the Dell card, the GPU, and putting in thermal pads, new thermal paste, and then doing the addition of a fan. I'm going to move my mechanical hard drive down to a bottom caddy tray in the bottom of the case, and then put another 120 millimeter intake fan. And I might even take apart the actual CPU water cooling too. This is very, I know, off topic for the topic of the video here, but for my R11 viewers out there, as I know a lot of people that have subscribed to the channel recently, which by the way, my channel has grown 2,300 subscribers in the last 28 days. For a channel that only has like 8,000 subscribers, that's pretty huge. That means my channel is definitely gaining traction and I'm at least resonating with an audience that enjoys my content, which means the world for me as somebody that has spent tons of time and energy shooting, editing, recording, coming up with ideas, and seeing, minimal views for the longest time. It's really great to be building a positive community around here, and I really enjoy hearing all your guys' comments in the section down there below. I do, before bed, I generally put on Netflix and I sit in bed for like almost an hour responding to comments and stuff. So I know a lot of you guys probably have had your comments answered by me recently, and I hope to get around to the rest of you guys here very soon. I definitely appreciate your guys' support for sure. So these are my settings, boys, and they do the Lord's work, so to speak. That's going to do it, guys. If you enjoyed this video, liking the video helps it to get seen by more people. gets a little bit more exposure, and I'm all about exposing myself here on this channel. I do a lot of tutorials helping you guys optimize your PC for gaming and mining, as well as tutorials helping you get set up streaming and YouTubing. I also cover a lot of news in the gaming community and industry, so if that kind of thing interests you, hopefully today's the day I earned your subscription, and I'll see you guys in the next video. There's a dog walking in. Hey, big girl. Alright, guys. Peace. You just bump your head on the desk? That had to hurt.